Alright, a lot of you said that I was really like morose and sad and gloomy in my last video, so I thought I'd come with an entrance. But welcome to yet another episode of Cooking with TZac. Yeah, so today's recipe is going to be a Bihari Chokha, not Chokha, Chokha, which is like the Bihari version of a Bharta. Very similar to a baba ganoush, but with a few variations in terms of the ingredients used. It can typically be made with like a whole bunch of ingredients. I think the classic ones are potato or eggplant, but you can apply it to a whole bunch of vegetables. I know at the Bombay Canteen we've done one with kantola. You can do it with karela, which takes up the bitterness to another level altogether. Many of the summer gourds and pumpkins can be used as well. You can just go crazy. So pretty much the recipe and the technique remain the same for all of them. You just change up the main vegetable. And today's main vegetable is the eggplant. So we have eggplant, of course, tomatoes, some onions, green chilies, garlic, mustard oil, cilantro, and some hing. So let's start fire roasting the vegetables. Starting with the eggplant, which is probably going to take the longest. What you do is you take tongs and turn the heat to about a medium, and you start roasting. You just leave it on there. It's as simple as that. Obviously, occasionally turning the vegetable along the side every now and then, but that's going to take about 5 to 10 minutes on each side. So it's just starting to char right now, and I can already smell that smokiness. It will at some point smell like something's burning in your kitchen, but don't be scared, that's perfectly fine. Obviously you don't want anything else to burn except the vegetable itself, but that's pretty much what you're doing. You're burning the exterior of the vegetable, and what's happening is it's also steaming in its own skin. And the result is like pure magic. Okay. This could take a while. I think there's a part where we fast forward. Something is happening right now. What I'm also going to do in the meanwhile is chop up the garlic which I have here. I think you can also manage to char the chilies while I'm at it. Multitask a little bit, why not? Beware of explosions. This time I don't think there'll be stuff flying in the air as much, but let's just be safe. So the garlic you want to chop relatively fine. I don't know if you can hear this, but it sounds like a jet is going up like over the sky right now. And you can also vary the proportions, by the way. For this size of an eggplant, I've picked 2 tomatoes and 1 large onion. About I dropped garlic again. About 5-6 cloves of garlic and a handful of cilantro. But depending on what flavors you want pronounced, you can change that up. Ooh, the chilies are done. Oops, a little too much I think, but yeah, you can see that. Burnt to a crisp almost. The other one is done too. Smells nice. I'm gonna try and get this third chili. Ooh. Okay. Now, as you're turning the eggplant over with the tongs, you'll see that it starts to get tender. and you'll get a feel for the fact that it's cooking through. Leave this right here. Chop up the garlic, the green chili as well. For the green chili, I'm not going to peel it. I'm going to leave the charred bits around, and that's perfectly fine. It's only a tiny amount. Oh, it smells amazing. Charred green chili. So you can see that this eggplant is starting to wilt all over. And let's keep that going with this size of an eggplant, it's going to take about 15 minutes. Okay, so it's finally reached a point where I'm kind of happy with. If you see, it kind of softens up nicely. And this is where I'm going to kind of end this misery for the eggplant. Turn off the flame. We have a bowl ready. It's nice and burnt and charred. Getting all squishy, see? Just put it in there and cover it. And what that's going to do is going to kind of steam in there with all that heat, and be easier to peel the skin off. Then we move on to the tomatoes. Tomatoes are going to be a little faster because one, you don't need them to cook through. Two, they are smaller, and you just want to char on the outside. I'm going to give the onions a skip this time, because I'm a little lazy right now. So I'm just going to chop up the onions. See, tomato, this one should be done. Yep. Ooh, it's slipping. Dump that in there. So the eggplant's charred, the tomatoes are charred. I got lazy on the onions, but I have them chopped. I have the garlic chopped and the charred green chili chopped as well. This has now been sitting, it's still warm. You might want to let it sit for like 15 minutes to cool down completely, but I'm going to get started anyway. Ooh, and that smells incredible. As you can see, it's condensation all over, and that's a steam. And yeah, now it's fairly straightforward. With the tomato, you just peel off the charred parts, and I sometimes like to add them in there as well, but in this case we'll kind of leave them out. With the eggplant, again, as you can see, it's all nice and steamy, and it's all softened up as well. What you can also do with this one is wash it, but I try not to do it because washing kind of takes away some of those flavors. So if you're feeling lazy, wash the burnt skin away, but otherwise just peel it off like I'm doing. So ooh, it's still hot, but that smell is incredible. Okay, I think we're in a good place. Then yeah, just start chopping away. So take off just the top, and you don't really have to do much. See, the knife just goes in smoothly, almost no resistance. That's beautiful. This is a very rustic recipe, the chokha, and it's actually a great accompaniment to a lot of things. In Bihar, they eat it with fulkas, rotis, with the classic combination litti chokha, Litti are dough balls which are baked in a tandoor. Dough balls stuffed with sattu, which is, again, that's a different story for a different recipe altogether. But you can also use this chokha as a dip. And I personally love to eat it just with rice. It's delicious. So yeah, the ratio of this seems a little off. I would have gone with 1 tomato next time because I want the eggplant flavor to shine. But this will taste good as well. There's no reason why it shouldn't. There you go. Let's get a spoon to mix it up. It's still warm. There's still steam coming out of this. Now we make the little tadka. You can hardly call it tadka, but it technically is. And this is where the bharta is different from, or the chokha rather is different from bharta. This recipe uses mustard oil, and there's a little bit of hing as well. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of cook the garlic in there as well. So get the pan hot. I'm going to be generous with the mustard oil. The pungency is just beautiful. While that's heating up, I'm going to season this generously. Okay, so it's almost about to smoke. Reduce the flame a little bit. Add the garlic. And the hing. Just a touch of hing. I'm going to brown the garlic a little bit. Again, all these little steps I'm doing are for building depth of flavor. Garlic is browned. I'm going to very quickly add the onions. I don't want to cook out the onions, just a quick saute. Season that. Now I can add my sugar. And sugar is to balance out the pungency of the mustard oil and the charred flavors. Again, just a tiny bit, you don't even know it's there once you taste it. And then add that in here, turn off the flame. Mix it all together. Mash it a little bit with the back of the spoon. Taste it for seasoning. Oh, that's spectacular. It's really, really delicious. But final touch is chopped onion, chopped cilantro for a little bit of that vibrancy from the herbs. And another ingredient I'm going to add, which is not typically found in the traditional recipe, is nimbu, lime. And again, this is to kind of, I tend to balance out most dishes, most foods with certain amount of sweetness, pinch of sugar and a little bit of acid. Again, in this case, it's just a little bit where you don't even know it's there, but it really makes a big difference. Oh boy. And as it sits, all those flavors are going to develop together. I'm going to a little bit of sugar, I mean salt. Charred green chilies hitting nicely. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Your Bihari eggplant and tomato chokha is pretty much ready. Thanks for watching, guys. Happy cooking!